Hello, and welcome to another episode of Walk the Dog Cinema. We are out and about, the Roca Die. Just heading out on our walk, and obviously going to talk about films. And we are still amongst our horror movie dumb. We are going to talk about The House That Dripped Blood today, starring again a whole host of familiar horror people from Amicus and Hammer, Peter Cushing, Zinnis, Christopher Lee, and a Doctor Who is in this. He plays a vampire or someone who's getting turned into one. So this was done in early 1970s, and yeah, it's a lesser effort from Amicus, but still enjoyable. And I'll get into why I think that. So The House That Dripped Blood, this one is not directed by Freddie Francis. As a matter of fact, it's directed by someone who was coming from British TV. So this is kind of his first feature. I wouldn't necessarily say that is a bad thing. There are some great camera setups and everything in this one compared to some of the other ones. To me, it's the overarching story to tie the anthology together, and just the stories in and of themselves in the anthology that aren't as strong in this one. Again, most of them are written by Robert Bloch, and he's written some of the other ones that were taken from short stories of his. I still think a lot of them are a little bit lesser effort or don't hold up to scrutiny as well as short stories and just kind of overarching plots about it all. So the overarching story is that someone is investigating an actor who disappeared. Scotland Yard sends someone down, and basically as he approaches the case, he talks to kind of the police officer who took the report, and he starts learning about the house. The overarching story within that, even the resolution, I wouldn't say is a twist. They try to set up that the house isn't inherently haunted. It does your own wishes and whims. And I think for me, that's where the movie is the weakest of all of the Amicus anthologies. It really is kind of really threadbare in that regard, and just doesn't have a really good resolution or a good tie. Some of them are fun. The first one that we learn about stars Denholm Elliott. You know him as Brody in Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. I mean, he did a bunch of other stuff. You might know him from otherwhere, but I'm just saying, as a kid growing up, that's where I got my first foray with this actor. And he's a horror novelist whose forte is serial killers, and he's been having kind of a mental block. So him and his wife go to rent this house, the House of Drip Blood, basically, though no blood ever drips from the house, but basically, and a whole plot unfolds where he gets inspiration to write another story with a serial killer, and all of a sudden this serial killer starts manifesting itself, and you can't really tell fact or fiction. Spoiler alert, it ends up that his wife is cheating on him, and her lover looks like this guy or dresses like him. But then the twist comes that he really took on the personality because he's kind of this failed actor. And getting there is a little fun. Again, acting is what it needs to be. It's, the pacing of this movie is a little bit slower than the other ones. This story's pretty good in that regard. but again, the payoff just kind of doesn't go anywhere when you kind of think it over. But overall, it's decent enough. The second one we get to stars Peter Cushing. He was a widower. We're kind of not really given much information, and he goes into town basically, and it's implied that there's like a tragedy about this woman, and he ends up seeing a wax museum. He goes into it. It's like a house of horrors, and he sees a wax figure that looks like the lady that he was madly in love with, who somehow perished, I guess. And again, the timeline really isn't clear. And a friend of his comes and visits, who also was in love with this lady, and the proprietor of a wax museum who does all the wax figures, this was his wife. And there's an uncanny resemblance. Plot twist again, kind of giving it away, but you kind of have to in these reviews. The killer ends up being the husband's wife, and she was kind of comes off as like a hussy, I guess, and while married to this guy, slept around and bewitched everybody. It's never implied that she was a witch or any of these kind of things. This one, I will say, though the plot is kind of weak, has some great camera work, great lighting, great atmosphere. It is suspenseful. There is a great fight with Peter Cushing and the killer, and there is a payoff at the end. I wouldn't say it's shocking, but it's kind of cool in one sense. But again, when you kind of look at the whole picture of it, it's just I you know, and I harp, you know, movies are fun, and that's kind of where you can put this movie. It's a fun B movie, nothing more, nothing less. You're not getting Academy Award stuff. Like I said, it's lesser effort from Amicus in terms of the quality that you got in the other three, or the other two prior to this. And the next one's coming. The quality went way up, so it's kind of middling in the middle. It's still entertaining. It's still worth a watch. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. So, but this one, you know, if you're gonna watch it, really watch the camera angles. There's a lot of canted angles, a lot of things that really kind of distort visually the story they're telling. So that's always that's an interesting notion of it all. The next story stars Christopher Lee, who has a daughter, and he's basically trying to get his daughter away from society and all that. So he goes out in this rural, gets the same house that all these other people have gotten, and starts shielding his child, gets a housekeeper because he has to go off and go to London and do work and stuff like that. So gets a homeschool teacher. And on one level, this is kind of the most pedestrian. This is the one that actually drags for me, though. Christopher Lee, I mean, he doesn't do much. He's Christopher Lee. It's still a lot of screen presence. It isn't a big part. It isn't much to it. The story in of itself, spoiler alert, the little girl's a witch. Though there is a great payoff to the story, and it's rather diabolical in that regard. Getting there is a little bit of a chore. This one, like I said, it's kind of languid. It just kind of sits there. First time you may see it, you can appreciate it a little bit. On repeated viewings, it's kind of one that you could skip almost. But I mean, within watching it, it lasts 15-20 minutes, feels like 30. Like I said, I wouldn't say there's too much horror to it. There's some suspense built to how we get to the child being a witch, but at the end of the day, besides the last 5 minutes of the whole thing, it's just kind of So there's that. And then we get to the main crux of the wraparound story, so to speak, the actor who disappears. This one's played for comedies, not really horror. We get the Doctor Who of the time during the 70s. I forget the actor's name, but he was Doctor Who this time, and so he was well known in Britain, very popular in that regards, and he is a big actor for horror movies. He's doing a low budget film, and basically he wants a authentic vampire cape. So he finds this proprietor who just magically kind of appears, and it's all this black magic. It's kind of sinister. It's got a lot of black humor in it in that regard, kind of dark, but sells the cape to him, and basically the cape really does turn you into a vampire. So the sequences is where he kind of turns into a vampire, or kind of does that. It's played for laughs. Again, the plot twist on this one I kind of won't, it doesn't make much sense, but you're gonna get some laughs, because I don't know if it was done intentionally or not, but when a certain person turns into a vampire bat, flies up to them, you can see the harness and the strings that they're on. Within the context of the whole episode, it kind of rings very B-level anyhow. So I can't say it's intentional. I mean, they try to hide it, but it kind of adds this weird flavor to the story that just brings a level of campy entertainment to it that I don't think they were really going for. But in the context of this, it actually kind of livens up the piece, because if you just played this material straight, it would be just humdrum. But it's played for camp on a very high level in that regard, and in that regard, it's fun, right? And then it ties into the last story of the police officer going to the house, and lo and behold, he discovers the secret of the actor and what happened to him, and then a fight ensues, and then another plot twist happens. I'm not going to give that one away, but let's just say it doesn't add up a whole lot again, and you just kind of go, okay. Again, I wouldn't say skip it. If you're going to follow along and watch the Amicus ones, like I said, they're all fun. I mean, for my movie collection and all that, I'd have it and, do this once in a while and kind of watch them all. Like I said, there's entertainment value to it. So, like all good pieces, I mean, and nostalgia and things like that, it's worth your time. It's just, like all things, we have to kind of admit it's not inherently a great movie. It's very almost below the median. It really skirts that line of just kind of being mid-level here, and that's fine. You get some entertainment out of it, but if you don't have time, it is one you could skip of all the Amicus movies. If you don't have the time to sit down and invest, this would be the one to skip if that was the case. But otherwise, to each your own. I enjoy them. There's always something in there that I'll catch. There is, like I said, noticing this time around some of the canted angles, really noticing the lighting and some of the atmosphere that's built. This one kind of relies on that even more so, just because story is kind of all in one set. It is really, really low budget, even compared to the other ones. So, coming off of The Great Torture Garden, this one is such a mild effort. But we go into Tales from the Crypt, which, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen it, is one of their best, and really evokes the EC comics if you've never read them, but like Creepshow. But this one really evokes those stories. All the stories are from that, so that's the next one I'm going to view and review. But take a gander and take a look at The House That Dripped Blood. Let me know what you think. And if you like talking movies or listen to movie reviews and see what maybe you might find out interesting things that you never thought about in movies, subscribe. Have a good one, everybody.